I'm back. It's time for top picks for September, and I've got some great books. Can't wait to show you. Coming up. Keep reading. Hi, Terri Gillespie, and welcome to Top Picks for the month of September. So I took a break in August. There was a death in the family, and then I had brain surgery, and it was successful, but I did have a little trouble reading in the month of August. But I am back, and I'm ready to give you some great books. So let's start. So my first book is The Stories We Carry by Robin W. Pearson. And this is my lead book, which means that I will be interviewing Robin. And that interview will come out on Wednesday. So, it was a great interview. I've already interviewed her. It's going in for editing right now, but it's fantastic. Not only is she a fantastic author, but she's a fantastic writer too. So this is published by Tyndale, and it will be released October 7th, which means that you can still pre-order, or you can wait and enter the giveaway, but no, pre-order. It's worth it. It's really worth it. So let's read a little bit about Robin. Robin W. Pearson, writing sprouts from her Southern upbringing, her belief in Jesus Christ, and her love of her husband, 7 children whom she homeschooled, and their dog Oscar. And I got to meet Oscar during the pre-warm-up of our interview. Her novels are rooted in the soul of the story and include her Christy Award-winning debut. After correcting grammar up and down the East Coast, this editor and homeschooling mama has settled on her North Carolina sofa in her pajamas and orange beanie, and she is great. Saw a picture of her house. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So this is a contemporary novel, and I would call it more like a literary novel. It's beautiful prose, great character development. And in this particular story, there's a little bit of a mystery element to it. So it will really keep you turning those pages. Usually with literary, you just kind of want to soak in the words and everything. But with the mystery element, I was flipping the pages pretty fast. So here is a little bit about the story. Glory Pryor has built a life for herself in Gilmore, North Carolina, cultivating a community around her bookstore by the book. Yeah, and any book story that has a bookstore, I love it. She's proud of her business success, though she's carrying the weight of stories of her own she's never told anyone. Glory is also holding out hope that one day her estranged brother will turn up on her doorstep so she can finally learn where he's been all these years. But her husband Eli thinks Glory holds too tightly the could-have-beens, and it's time for them to step away from the store as they head into their retirement years. Glory has different opinions on that. She's not ready to give up the dream she's built just yet. Then Adele Simonette shows up with her young son, Bennett, and Glory's carefully controlled life begins to crumble. All right, so Okay, so here's chapter 1 and the first paragraph. It was Glory's childhood friend who introduced her to Roll Up Thunder, Hear My Cry, her all-time favorite book. She determined to become one of the Logans, bold and full of sass, for she surely loved as fiercely as they did, and she wanted to protect her family just as much, her big brother in particular, her only brother and hero. The difference was they played for keeps, and Glory had lost big time. Delicious, delicious, delicious. All right, second book. This is Lynette Eason's. This is the final book in the Lake City Heroes series. And boy, we had Lynette. I interviewed Lynette before. I'll put the link for that interview down in the description section. And it was fun. I really enjoyed that. Lynette is a USA Today best-selling author, very much award-winning. She's actually an agent, a literary agent now, so she is one busy lady. So if you're not familiar with Lynette, here's a little bit about her. Lynette Eason is a USA Today best-selling and award-winning author of Double Take, Target Acquired, and Serial Burn, as well as The Extreme Measures, Danger Never Sleeps, Blue Justice, Women of Justice, Deadly Reunions, Hidden Identity, and Elite Guardian series. Great series. All right, so here is a little bit about the book. Now, this is considered romantic suspense, and this is published by Revell, and it released, it released August the 5th. This is one of the books I was supposed to read in August. Sorry, Lynette. All right, here is a little bit about the book. She's intent on investigating a sinister plot of revenge, and it will take all her courage to survive. Air Marshal Christine Duncan is not on duty when a hijacker attempts to seize control of the plane she and her friends are on as they head out for a much-needed vacation. Jumping into action and aided by FBI Special Agent Andrew Ross, Christine thwarts the attack and the plane lands safely. But as the investigation into the incident gets underway, Christine and Andrew are confused at every step. Nothing about the investigation goes as it should, and each layer they peel back just reveals another layer of perplexity. All right. Chapter 1. First paragraph. October 5th. Air Marshal Christine Duncan leaned back in her seat, her eyes skimming over the sunrise outside the Airbus 319's window. Minutes ago, they left Lake City, North Carolina airport and had just leveled out at cruising altitude after a smooth climb. When the Lake City field office opened a little over 2 years ago, she'd taken the offered position without hesitation. Moving away from Asheville had been a good thing in many ways. But then something's going to happen. So there's always mystery, suspense, a little bit of thrills and chills, and, of course, romance with Lynette. So our next book is Robin Jones Gunn, and this is her second book in the Suitcase Sisters series, and it's Gelato at the Villa. Now, I interviewed Robin, I guess it was last year, and she talked a little bit about this upcoming book. So I'll have the link to in the description section for you to take a look at that interview if you'd like. Now, Sister Chicks was her other sisterhood series that I just loved that series. And then she kind of took a little hiatus from writing those sisterhood books. And now she's back again with the Suitcase sisters. So more traveling, more incredible soulful insights, humor, tears, and of course, beautiful descriptions of exotic places. So if you're not familiar with Robin, here's a little bit about her. And see, this came out on the 19th of August. So Robin Jones Gunn is a best-selling and award-winning author of more than 100 books, including Tea with Elephants, which is the first book in this series, the Sister Chicks series, and the Christy Miller series for teen girls. Her books have sold more than 6 million copies worldwide. Robin and her husband have 2 grown children and 4 grandchildren and live in Southern California, where she co-hosts the Women Worth Knowing podcast. There was a lot of sayings at the beginning of each chapter, and so this one was, whoever finds a friend finds a treasure. Grace and Claire have formed a close friendship over their love of reading. After many years and many books that provided armchair adventures, the time has come for them to go somewhere instead of only dreaming of someday. Traveling to Venice, Florence, and Bellagio, the Suitcase sisters find themselves immersed in the magnificent works of art, scrumptious gelato flavors, and endless pasta variations of Italy. And they discover a vulnerability to disclose their struggles in ways they never did at home. As Grace experiences a newfound freedom and confidence in who she is, Claire wrestles with painful memories of her teen years. A special dinner party brings unexpected revelations about faith and God's nearness. Then a life-changing moment on the shores of Lake Lugano causes Grace and Claire to discover they are not just tourists, but pilgrims on a path to becoming all God created them to be. There was something that she said in page 58. Every woman should have a friend who gives her the gift she hesitates to give for herself. If you have a friend like that, treasure them. All right, so here's the prologue. We didn't expect to love her. Admire her beauty? Of course. Enjoy her traditional recipes? Absolutely. Appreciate the accomplishments of her many children? No question. But fall in love with Italy? Become irresistibly smitten with her voice, fragrance, and unforgettable personality so much that we cried when we left her? I want to go to Italy. Ah. Okay, here's another favorite. Amanda Cox. Amanda knows how to do quirky. She is literary. She also writes literary style or genre. And she's best-selling, award-winning, which usually all the books are, but she also has just a quirky way of developing her characters with plots you would never expect. So I've been looking forward to this book after reading her other books, He Should Have Told the Bees and Between the Sound and the Sea. So here's a little bit. This was published by Revell, and it came out August 19th. Okay, so here's a little bit about Amanda. Amanda is the multi-Christie Award-winning author of The Edge of Belonging, The Secret Keepers of Old Depot Grocery. That is one I really want to read. I need to get that one. He Should Have Told the Bees, In Between the Sound and the Sea. She lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee with her husband and 3 children. Now, I interviewed Amanda, and I'll put the link below in the description section. But I do those little shorts where there's a little clip, funny. Usually it's funny, but my one for Amanda was she was talking about her research for this book, and she went up into the hills of Tennessee, and they went into moonshiner country, which there's some of that in here. So if you get a chance, look at that short. It's really cute. It's really funny. So one of the things that she does is she usually has a dual timeline, and the timeline is historical and then the contemporary. And so this, you get, Jamie Jo Wright does the same thing, where you kind of get the inciting incident in the historical part of it, and then it develops all the way through in the historical part and then in the contemporary. I love that technique. And they both do it really well. So here's a little bit about the story. Did I say what it was? The Bitter End Birding Society. It's really cool. The Bitter End Birding Society, a forbidden romance, a fractured family, and one woman's journey to piece it all together. Hometown hero Anna Leigh Watkins ventures to Bitter End, Tennessee, to help her great aunt prepare for retirement. A town called Bitter End seems an ironic place for Anna to refresh her weary spirit, but she's desperate for respite from the attention and unwarranted admiration of her community. While on a hike in the Rowan Mountains, a ragtag group of amateur bird watchers takes her under their wing, a little against her will. However, she quickly warms to these genuine souls seeking solace in the great outdoors. But when Anna's adventures in Bitter End lead her to a severed branch of her family tree, one that involves a forbidden love between a moonshiner's daughter and a preacher's son, what began as a getaway to help her great aunt becomes a transformative journey that binds together 2 women who, though they live on the same street, have been estranged for 60 years. Okay, so prologue, which this is the historical side. August 1959. Viola Chambers had always wondered at what point in the dying process a person understood they weren't long for this world, and now she'd give anything to unlearn it. The newborn nestled in her arms, squirmed and stretched. Tiny fingers escaped the swaddle and gripped hers. The strength in that tiny hand exceeded her own. Okay, last book. Okay. This is Jennifer L. Wright, and this is Last Light over Galveston, Texas. I also interviewed Jennifer, so that'll be down below in the description section. But one of the really cool things that Jennifer does is she will take historical events and have that build on her story. Sometimes they're events that we know about, like the testing of the A-bomb, I think in Nevada. So anyway, she takes these historical events. Now this particular one In the 1900s in Galveston, Texas, there was a hurricane. And at the time, they thought that there was no way that a hurricane could ever land in Texas, on the Texas coast. And that wasn't the case. So it's just fascinating, and first of all, to learn about that piece of history that most people don't know. And given the fact that there's so many hurricanes and so much damage in the Southeast, you would think that would be something that we would learn from. So, and that's one of the things that Jennifer always does. There's always this little cautionary lesson that are in these books. So this, of course, is historical. And here's a little bit about Jennifer. Jennifer L. Wright grew up wanting to be a reporter, but it took only a few short months of working in journalism for her to abandon those aspirations for fiction writing instead. She loves to reimagine and explore forgotten eras in history, showcasing God's light amidst humanity's darkest days. She currently lives in New Mexico with her husband, 2 children, a couple of long-haired dachshunds, and an ever-growing herd of guinea pigs. If you follow her, and I encourage you to do that on Facebook and Instagram, she's got some of the most adorable pictures of guinea pigs and her dachshunds. Okay, here's something about the story. Galveston, Texas, September 1900. Only months ago, Kathleen McDaniel returned from finishing school in Switzerland to her family home in New York's Hudson Valley, with the future of promise and privilege set before her. But one horrific event shattered her picturesque life. Now she has fled as far as the train line and a pocket full of money would take her, finding refuge at the St. Mary's Orphan Asylum in Galveston Island, where she helps the nuns care for their charges and prays her past will not find her. Despite her tenuous standing at the orphanage and the grief and betrayal that drove her from home, Kathleen slowly begins to make friends. There's Emily, the novice nun she rooms with, Maggie, the tempestuous young girl who only bonds with Kathleen, and Matthew, a kind, handsome man recently employed by Isaac Clive at Galveston's office of the U.S. Weather Bureau. Then, in one fateful day, Kathleen's fragile new life begins to crack as it becomes clear that she can't run far enough to escape the reach of her former life. And then, throw in a hurricane. All right. So it's interesting that this book takes place like in a few months from start to finish. It's only like a few months, less than a year. Okay, here's the prologue. May 1900. I walked until I could go no further, until open water was all I could see. It was the end of the road for sure, possibly the end of the world. For me, they were one and the same. Okay, that's the last book for this month. And I've already started reading October's top picks and more really great ones. So, and also I hope to have a special episode of some indie books that I'm reading that I think you might be interested in. So that's it for this month. Lots of good reads, and I hope you'll take advantage of reading these. And something that Robin W. Pearson was saying when we interviewed together is she said, if you read your books in the library and they don't have any of these titles, ask the librarian to order 2. so that you can read them and somebody else can enjoy them too. So that's it for this month. Thanks for watching. Until next month, God bless and keep reading.